Hello, this is Bob Milam from the Salt Lake chapter of the Utah High School Football Officials Association. Today's discussion focuses on penalty administration. This is a subject that everyone needs to become more expert. If you've ever just left it to the white hat or felt that penalty administration was too difficult to understand and too hard to learn, then pay close attention for the next 15 minutes. We're going to take the mystery and confusion out of most of penalty administration procedures. All five crew members must know how to do this so that options can be conveyed to coaches, the game managed and administered according to the rules, and the pace of play can be maintained and optimized. So let's get started. Let's take a look at the overview, the big picture, and specifically what we'll talk about today is this. The enforcement of the vast majority of penalties can be boiled down to a simple three-step process. Number one, when did the foul occur? During what type of play? Number two, based on this, where is the basic spot? And number three, once you have the basic spot, you can then determine the enforcement spot. And remember this acronym, asking when, where, and who in alphabetical order. And that's how you administer penalties. This process will cover 95% of all penalties, but what about the others? Well, we're not going to deal with that today. We want you to go home and study the exceptions and the other quirky stuff on your own. Our goal today is to get you competent with the administration of most penalties. So let's get started. The first step is to know when, and this boils down to four different categories. First, was the ball live or dead when the foul occurred? Dead ball fouls are all handled exactly the same way. If it's not, the ball's not dead, then it must be live. And if it's live, it's either in somebody's possession or it's not. This is the simple difference between a loose ball play and a running play. However, please note, read the difference in the rule book of a loose ball and a loose ball play. The fourth category are fouls simultaneous with the snap, like illegal formation, motion, shift, etc. These are treated as if they're loose ball plays. Once you know when the foul occurred, you can then choose the right basic spot. There are exactly and only 6 basic spots, and only one is assigned to any given foul. Now, 3 of these spots are normal, they're used all the time. 3 of them are weird. You'll run into them very infrequently. So let's look at them. The normal ones first, the succeeding spot, where the ball will next be snapped. The previous spot, where the ball was last snapped, and the end of the run. These are defined in the rules referenced next to each category. Please look them up. Now the next 3 that are weird. The PSK spot, which is the end of the kick. PSK is short for post-scrimmage kick. And if PSK applies, we'll use this spot. The goal line for fouls by B during a safety, and the 20-yard line for fouls by B during a touchback. These you will use very infrequently. So each of these basic spots is used as a starting point. Remember, it's basic. You have to build on it for the administration of each specific penalty, depending upon when the foul occurred. So let's examine each one. We'll list the play and what the rules define as the basic spot. You just need to memorize this list. There are no shortcuts here. Dead ball fouls go from the succeeding spot. Running plays or fouls after a momentum beanbag has been dropped and the play ends in the end zone will go from the end of the run as defined in 10-4-4. Loose ball plays are from the previous spot, as are fouls simultaneous with the snap. Those are our 3 normal spots, 3 normal basic spots, that is. PSK fouls go from the end of the kick, fouls by B on a safety from the goal line, and fouls by B during a touchback are from the 20-yard line. Those are our basic spots. Then, as I said, you just need to memorize this list. Now, after you know when the foul was committed and have found the basic spot, the final step is to determine where the enforcement spot will be. This process builds on the basic spot and must be done last. The all but one principle applies to loose ball plays and running plays only. Dead ball fouls and fouls simultaneous with the snap do not apply. Begin by asking who committed the foul. Was it the offense or the defense? This is the who. Then ask, where is the flag? Is it in front of or behind the basic spot you just determined? This is the where. Now let's go through and fill in the 4 quadrants of this chart. If it's a foul by the offense in front of the basic spot, we'll enforce from the basic spot. Similarly, if it's a foul by the defense in front of the basic spot, we'll also go from the basic spot. If it's a foul by the defense behind the basic spot, we'll also go from the basic spot. And the last quadrant, we filled in all but one. Guess what? It's different. If it's a foul by the offense behind the basic spot, then we'll use the spot of the foul. This is the but one of the all but one principle. And now you know why they have named it. So now we've answered the who and where, and we have everything that we need to mark off the majority of our penalties. We've asked when, where, and who. So let's review the whole process. It's a 2-step process. First, ask when and determine the proper basic spot. If it's a dead ball foul or foul simultaneous with the snap, go ahead and mark off the yardage. If not, if it's a loose ball play or a foul during a running play, then you have to ask who and where with the all but one matrix to find the correct enforcement spot. It's vital that you structure your thinking like this model, asking when, where, and who. Otherwise, you'll shortcut and make errors, possibly over or under penalizing teams as a result. Always, always, always use the fundamental process. So let's look at some examples of how this process works with some actual plays. I'm going to show you 5 plays that will fill in all of the 4 quadrants on your all but one chart. First, we have a chop block during a running play. The play will start at the 21-yard line and it will end at the 18-yard line. The spot of the foul will be the 21-yard line. So let's look at this play. Watch the defensive tackle, the center, and the right guard. There's the chop block, the high-low double team. The runner is tackled at the 18-yard line. So what kind of a play is this? This is a running play. And where is our basic spot for a running play? Well, it's the end of the run, which is the 18-yard line. Is this a foul by offense or defense? In this case, it's the offense. Was the foul ahead of or behind the basic spot? And in this case, it was ahead of the basic spot. So we will use the basic spot as our enforcement spot and mark off half the distance back to the 9-yard line. That's the upper left quadrant on your chart. Let's look at play number 2. This time we're going to snap from the 36-yard line, and the spot of the foul will be the B30, way downfield, and the result of the play is an incomplete pass. So let's watch it. The pass is thrown downfield, and the back judge rules pass interference on the defense. So what kind of a play is this? In this case, it's a loose ball play. Where is the basic spot? For loose ball plays, it's the previous spot or the A36-yard line. Is this a foul by the offense or the defense? In this case, it's the defense. And was the spot of the foul ahead of or behind the basic spot of the A36? Well, it's well ahead of the basic spot. So, referring to your chart, this is the upper right quadrant. We will use the basic spot and penalize 15 yards from the A36-yard line. Next, it's 1st and 10 on the A41. The spot of the foul will occur at the 39-yard line, and the end of the run will be the 41. And I want you to watch the tailback in this play as he suffers a face mask major that spins him around at the 39-yard line. There it is. He's then tackled at the 41. So what kind of a play is this? This is a running play. Our basic spot will be the end of the run, which is the 41. This is a foul by the defense that was behind the basic spot. So we will enforce this penalty 15 yards from the A41 and tack it on. and take the ball down to the B44 yard line, the third quadrant on our chart. Now let's look at the fourth quadrant. This time I want you to watch the right tackle in the offensive formation here, as he will commit a foul back at the A30 yard line. The previous spot is the 36, and we'll ask the same three questions. There's the hold, occurs at the 30 yard line. The pass is thrown and it's incomplete. So what kind of a play is this? Well, even though the quarterback still has the ball in his possession when the foul occurs, this is actually a loose ball play as defined by the rules. Now you need to go back to your rule book and look that one up and understand why it's a loose ball play. So as a loose ball play, where is the basic spot? It will be the previous spot. Is this a foul by the offense or defense? It's by the offense, and it's behind the basic spot. It occurs at the 30 yard line. In this case, we will not use the basic spot of the 36. Instead, we will apply the all but one principle. This is the but one. We'll take this foul from the A30 and march the ball back to the 20 yard line. Lastly, I want you to watch the wide receiver on this play out here. And let's talk about this one. Pass is thrown to the slot receiver, and there's a hold at the 41 yard line. The receiver is then tackled and wrestled out of bounds down at the 47 yard line. Spot of the foul is the 41, and the play originated at the 36. What kind of a play is this? Well, this foul occurs after the catch, so this is a running play. The basic spot is the end of the run. This is a foul by the offense behind the basic spot. The basic spot is the A47. The spot of the foul is the 41. We'll penalize 10 yards from the 41 yard line. This is, again, in that fourth quadrant. This is an example of the but one. Now, in addition to these examples that I've shown you on film and to what we've covered today, there's a bunch of exceptions and special enforcements that you need to study. All of these can be found in the rule book and the case book, except fouls during overtime. Since Utah does not follow the NFHS rules for overtime procedures, you must search the USHSAA website for the unique penalty procedures pertaining to overtime. Take some time and look these up. And whether you know them well or not, spend some time with these so that you understand the exceptions. To help you, as you go through this process, we've prepared a couple of cheat sheet cards that will help you to remember this procedure. On the front of your card, it has the two-step procedure, finding the basic spot from the type of play and applying the all but one principle in the same matrix that we just designed. Also, the exceptions are listed here that will be different, that require some different thinking. And this is just meant to jog your memory, not to replace your rule book study. On the back of the card, you'll find the 5 criteria that must be answered true in order for PSK to take effect, and then also penalties that occur on a scoring play at the end of the game where overtime might be affected. There's some exceptions to how those penalties are handled, and that's covered here. So we hope this card helps you as you go forward in your penalty enforcement and penalty administration. But let's summarize what we've gone through today. First, read the rule book, read the case book, and watch more film, specifically focusing on how penalties are handled and administered by the crew, if you're able to do that during the course of your film study. Second, slow down. Go through the whole process each time. Find out when the foul occurred, where it happened, and who did it, so that you can find out the type of play, the basic spot, and the enforcement spot. And don't shortcut this process and don't guess. Review your cheat sheet card during your pre-games, and finally memorize the exceptions and the special enforcements that the rule book provides. That's our presentation for today. If you have questions, please feel free to contact me, and have a great season.